toe, at least the skin, and it looks like nail of my toe.
My name's Justin. 1 year ago, I was in a motor vehicle accident and lost my right leg. I was coming home from work and got hit by a motorcycle while crossing the road, and it took my leg off instantly. Yeah, losing a limb is very weird. For a long time, your brain can't really understand that there's a missing limb. So you get what's called phantom sensation or phantom pain.
I really like this short, but an interesting and inspiring film. A young man, Justin, lost his leg after being hit by a motorcycle and then finds people to get his leg back and reassemble the bones so he can keep his skeleton leg. I've never considered this option before. According to Justin, it was quite a challenge to get his leg back. He's a bit of a trailblazer. I'll bet more people will do the same thing after seeing the film. Lovely and gentle piano soundtrack underscored this inspiring story. I loved hearing about Justin's optimistic attitude about life now. Great film.
Really interesting. He had this sudden accident that happened and he instantly lost his leg. And as he described it, I can only imagine how incredibly difficult it would be to accept your reality when in a split second something can change and something so drastic and so extreme. So I really liked that this project was very healing for him. It brought him peace. It brought him closure and the acceptance that he needed to really move on with his life. So, this was really special for so many reasons. Very surprised at the reluctance of the hospital to release the leg back to him. I guess there's health regulations and stuff, but it shouldn't be that difficult because it's literally my body. But it's good to know that if that was something that somebody wanted, that there is a way. As we can see, there is a way, some way, somehow to get it back. And I'm so glad that he did. And that by sharing his story, it's really inspired other people to, they didn't even know that was an option. Because they don't tell you that it is. So it's really allowed for people to advocate for themselves and for what they really want. And so I think that's just really, really beautiful. So I'm so glad I got to watch this film.
A really beautiful story of a young man overcoming adversity that is not only unexpected, but also very sudden. And I think his wanting to share how he dealt with that with others so that they might know their options and that being the mission of this film, is a really powerful thing and emotion. And it also, I think, brings up a really profound way of looking at our past as almost a fossil, and looking at things that we have lost or that have happened to us as something that we can keep with us and cherish, but also recognize are now separate from who we are today.
Excellent job of serving as a reminder of the past while also looking towards a hopeful future. Talking about losing a leg from a motor vehicle is very traumatic to go through. And Justin doesn't shy away from detailing the toll that it took on him mentally. But by showing what he did in getting his leg fossilized and explaining how others reached out to him saying they would have done the same thing. He's putting this film out there with the goal of helping anyone that might wind up in the same situation. And while we hear all the time about how we should let go of the past, this serves as a great example of how that can sometimes be a good thing.
It's just fascinating and, it's very moving. And, although the idea of reclaiming a lost limb is something that people might find, weird, it really is a story about reclaiming what's yours and what belongs to you, which is really beautiful. And it really opened my mind to, how different people, process their grief and trauma and, what it's like to lose a limb. And it was just amazing to see how the story and how his experience connected him to all these people And I think it was just such a unique slice of life. And I really was appreciative of having been able to see it. And I think you guys did a great job.
The idea of getting reunited with a body part is quite a foreign concept to many, I imagine. It was certainly a foreign concept to me before watching this short documentary. But Justin's commitment to his reunification with his leg, though not as allowing it to be a part of his body, but still allowing it to be a part of his life, is really moving, and just makes you want to consider what really matters in your life. Certainly, take a roster and take inventory, and then really appreciate all that you have, and be mesmerized and profoundly impressed by how others make the best of their own situations.
Never ever seen a story about this before, so just I have to say, I really hand it to Justin there. There's some really original thinking there, that as a part of recovery to want to have his leg back. And it's as he says later on, so many people, write him and tell him, I wish I was able to, or I wish I had thought of that. I mean, honestly, would I think of that if that were to happen to me? I just don't even know. But the fact that, by the end of the piece, as he's playing video games, it's like a game, and I'm having so much fun right now. I'm having a good time with life. Obviously, it was a very important part of his recovery, and huge kudos to the folks that helped him, the taxidermy folks. So wonderful of them to be able to do that. So this is a wonderful story, and the whole thing was produced very beautifully. Justin and everybody on screen was great. They were easy to relate to, even with this unusual story, easy to relate to. Everything looked great. It was edited and colored well. The score was terrific. It was nicely paced. I totally understood the story from the get-go, and it was wrapped up and tied up very tightly and nicely. So great job here, and I hope this gets out and gets seen, because this is important for a lot of people to experience this, to see this kind of recovery.